In astrology, there are two planets that are considered the most benefic: Jupiter and Venus. So, when the two of them are combined, well, it should be the best thing ever, right? Oh, hell no. So, what's the problem with Jupiter-Venus conjunction? I mean, they're both benefics, right? Why would they cause any harm? Well, ever heard the expression too much of a good thing? That's exactly the problem with this conjunction. You see, with both benefics in one house, with both of them having quite different agendas, it can cause quite a few issues. On the ideological side, they are basically the complete opposites of each other. Jupiter is the conservative and Venus is the progressive. Now, if you wish to learn more about that, you can check out the video I made about politics and astrology in the link below. But the problems that Jupiter-Venus conjunction can cause are not strictly ideological in nature. In fact, they can be quite a myriad of issues with such a conjunction. One example would be more money, more problems, because a Jupiter-Venus conjunction usually creates quite a lot of money. However, again, you have quite a bit of problems associated with it because you don't have the cruel Mars or Saturn regulating the way in which that money is employed or distributed. So a person can be taken advantage of, especially if this conjunction occurs in the 6th house. It can also denote in the 6th house theft, because the person is quite gullible. But even if this conjunction occurs in the 2nd house, it can denote overindulgence in food or too much luxury. A person can become too accustomed to that luxury and, well, too fond of the food. So, obesity and not enough resilience to handle the outside world. If this conjunction occurs in the 1st house, the person can be quite beautiful, but again, it can denote obesity. It can denote too much estrogen, because Jupiter is a lot and Venus is estrogen. So it can cause excess. It can cause also a fluid excess, so fluid retention in the body, edema. If it occurs in the 5th house, it can be both a blessing and a curse, because it denotes someone who is very creative and someone who probably has a lot of children. Also more than one girl. However, that also means that the person must take care of all those children, and that's quite a burden. That's not an easy thing to accomplish. And again, you don't have the malefic energy that can regulate everything, so a person can be overwhelmed by the responsibility. The worst location for this conjunction is actually the 9th house, because then the person is too idealistic. He's out of touch with reality and he cannot handle the cruel side of life, the painful side of life. He just doesn't comprehend it correctly. In the 11th house, however, this conjunction is quite fruitful in terms of having a large network circle and having a lot of income. So there it is basically mitigated. The reason for that is that the 11th house is the house of desire fulfillment and achieving your goals. So in theory, it shouldn't be surprising. Also, when you have a large network, especially of females, because again, we have Jupiter with Venus, it actually helps you a lot in terms of publicity. But here's the deal. It will also cause quite a bit of drama because you always have a lot of intrigue in such a network circle. It can also cause you to be, again, too gullible in terms of how you handle your contacts. So one should be quite careful about the results gained from that circle. Another very important thing to be aware of with such a combination is the high likelihood of either diabetes or obesity. Again, with Venus representing sugar, it is a very good idea to avoid sweets and to avoid overindulgence in fatty foods. So forget about sugars and let's leave that cake alone, shall we? Also, if it is associated with the 12th house or the 12th house lord, then it can denote alcoholism. Actually, it can also denote other forms of drugs because, again, you have Venus, which is indulgence. So one should be very careful about that. And if it is somehow connected to the 7th house, well, too many lovers. Again, something to be wary of. The most important thing about this conjunction and what you really need to do to handle it properly and to achieve the most out of it is to adopt something that will moderate it. Specifically, self-discipline. Use Saturn to limit the effects of Jupiter and Venus. Now, if you do that properly, then the malefic effects of that conjunction will become a lot more benefic because instead of giving too much of anything at any given time, it will be always enough, but always in moderation. So again, self-discipline is the main theme when it comes to this conjunction and in dealing with it. In fact, even when it comes to the mythology, whenever Shukracharya was doing some penance and was willing to employ self-discipline, he would gain some kind of superpower. So it should be self-evident that this is exactly what is needed when you have such a conjunction, because it really can give you superpowers, especially when it comes to gaining money or gaining friends. I hope you found this video useful. Please like and subscribe, and if you wish to learn more about medical astrology and astrology in general, please check out my website. You'll find the link below. Thank you.